First, let's create a database. And in this database, let's call it some random database. Let's call it, let's just say new database. And in this database, we have some pages. Let's add some pages. And in this pages, we are having some property. Say we are adding, uh, let's call this database sales. And each one of these can be called sale 1, sale 2, and sale 3. So we are having a property called uh, add a property called price or sale amount. So that is a number property, and let's call this sale amount. And this is a number property. All this you can just leave it as default. Now let's say we are having a sale amount for sale 1 to be 100, second one is 200, and let's say third one is 500. So now we want this. Now we want to know the total sale amount for this all the three sales. We can use this calculate option here, which is let's just use more options, and then we'll have a sum option, which will give us the 800 as a sum. But we cannot use this property directly in any other database. It is something that is not directly possible in this database like this. So what we want is we want to summarize the total sales, and we want to know the total sales amount. So for that, the way to do that is we can create another database. So it's just hanging here. So okay, so let's create another database. So let's call this database the summary database. Summary database. And inside the summary database, let's call this as let's call the summary as just a summary for now. Now what we have to do is we have to relate this database to this database. So we'll get a relation property in the sales database, and that is related to the summary database we just created. And let's call that summary database. Now we only want to have one page as the maximum limit because we don't want to have many summary pages. We can have many summary pages, but for this example, let's just take one page as summary page. Let's only take one page as summary page. Now this is a two-way relation because in the summary page also we want to know all the sales so that we can do some calculations. So let's call this sales in the other database. So let's add this relation. And if you see now we have got a relation property here, and there is a sales relation property here also. So now what we want is we want every sale page to be related to this summary page so that we can summarize the values of these pages in this database. So for that we can create a new page in the database. So I'll just copy that, and I'll add all the sales to summary database. And as we have added this here, the sales also has filled up with all the sales pages. And let's unwrap this thing. So it's unwrap, so it's more easier to work with. So it's more in one line. Yeah, okay. So now we can use these pages to summarize about the sale amount. So the goal here is we want to know what is the sale amount, the total sales value. So let's create a new property, a new formula property for that. And we can call this formula property as total sales value. And so after this, it's pretty much straightforward. You have to let's do the formula. You want the sale amount, the sum of all the sale amount of the sales. So let's go to the formula editor. In this, we have to take the sales property, the sales relation, and dot map so that we get each of sale amount. So it's current dot the amount, total sale amount for each of the sales page. So let's go sale amount, and we get the sales amount individually in a list. So now we want the sum of that. So let's go with sum, and yeah, so that is the total sales value for all the pages in sales amount. So now what happens is we got the sales amount in this database, in summary database. Now wherever you want this total sales amount in any other database, you can just link that database to the summary database, and then you can get the total sales value from this database here. So that is how you can summarize a database. Uh, so now what we want is, if you see here, if we add another page, we say let's add sale 4, and if we add a sale 4, this is not automatically connected to the summary database. And if we add some amount, say 1000, now what happens here is this is not updated with the new sales that we do here. So what we have to do is we have to create a new template. So or we have to use manually click summary and do that. So instead of that, we can add a new template. So in this new template, let's set the summary database default to the summary, and we can close the template and make this template. This is the key important thing here. We have to make this template as the default template for all views, so that whenever you create a new page, the summaries are automatically added. And now if you add a sale and you add a value for it, say now it is like say 500 or 1500. So now you can see here it is correctly updated automatically. You don't have to manually add this page here. So that is how you can summarize a specific property in a database using another database. So this is a workaround for getting the total sales amount in this thing. So currently Notion does not directly support getting uh, the database properties inside form editor, so that you can directly add a property and then get all the sale amount for every page in this database and then use it here. So it is, you have to use another database to summarize the values in another in this database. So yeah, so that is how essentially you can summarize a database in Notion. So